Hello and welcome to GameSpot's continuing coverage of E3 2013. You're watching Stage 2, the cool stage, the awesome stage. It shows all the music videos your mum wouldn't want you to watch. We've got loads of games coming up today. We've had loads yesterday, which are all available on GameSpot.com on demand. And you can watch this on e3.gamespot.com or twitch.tv/GameSpot E3 Stage 2. Man, we got Deadfall Adventures up right now. Reinhard and Martin, thank you very much for joining us here on GameSpot Stage 2.
No problem.
How you doing?
Thanks for being here.
Explain to the good folks at home, because this is a game that has been around for a while, but in terms of assets that you've shown, there hasn't been too much. So explain to the good folks at home what Deadfall Adventures.
I mean, the reason for that is that the project was a project that was first started by the developer from Farm 51, which we are cooperating since about 2 years on other projects. So we did Painkiller, Hell and Damnation with them. We have an established cooperation with them, and we were always talking to them also about this game. And we kind of collaborated before we kind of agreed that we're going to, have that also formally set up, because they were not going to know that how they want to put out this game and what it will be up. And so, like about a year ago, we decided to enter this kind of partnership. So we teamed up both for publishing reason and also for the actual production. So we kind of stepped in terms of the creative process, so that the game is just spot on and what the players expect outside. This is especially... Yeah.
So you guys are from Nordic Games. So how does this? Do you publish quite a lot of it? You guys are always working and developing on quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So is this how your sort of business model operates? Do you have a lot of smaller teams around the place you're kind of working with in tandem with?
Yeah, I mean, we don't own a development studio.
Yeah.
We believe more in good partnerships that are long-lasting. And for certain projects, we also put together our own kind of teams, like which are distributed teams. I'm a huge fan of distributed teams, because you can kind of grab the talent where they are, and they work from home, and they are just very passionate about the project, and they have the experience in their field. And in terms of our portfolio, I mean. We kind of have a big focus on adventure games, but also action games. We started that with Painkiller, and from that also Deadfall Adventures evolved kind of from that cooperation with Farm 51. And in the future, we are looking to bring out even more diverse lineup. But more focused on hardcore games. So that's really our core business.
Well, if Painkiller, Hell and Damnation is any indication as to what direction you guys are going in. That's pretty cool.
I think, as you said, it's a lot about the passion, because one of the reasons why Deadfall has been around so long and now it's gotten up to speed is because it's been a passion project of this developer.
Yeah.
So it's been something they just wanted to do and did in their spare time and stuff like this, and just worked on it, and then we saw it and we thought, like, this is going to be great. This is a great game, and they love it, and they really, really want to do this. And then we stepped in and tried with them to bring it up to speed.
Excellent. Well, let's hop in. Let's have a check out Deadfall Adventure. Obviously, this is one of the first times you guys are showing gameplay. E3 is like a big sort of a moment for you guys.
We're showing really actual gameplay. I mean, we are here in a Mayan level, so I mean the game doesn't start at the Mayan kind of location, but we have like a lot of location. Martin, maybe you can talk more about this.
Basically, the game is divided into 3 big areas that you explore while you go through the story. It's a very story-driven game. So this is the last part where you go is Guatemala, where you go into Mayan ruins, jungle, these kind of things. There are always, the levels are up out in the open, then they're also down in the temple structures and stuff like this. There's a lot of variation. You start off in the Sahara in Egypt, Egyptian temples, again, very beautiful carvings, all this kind of stuff. In between you go all the way to the Arctic, so then you've got the contrast with the snow and the icy plains and stuff like this.
So in terms of era, what are we talking about here?
This is set in 1943.
Okay.
So that's why you can see from the weapons that Reinhard is using that Farm really took a lot of care, the developer, to have very detailed weapons with that styling from the 1930s, 1940s. They really handle the way the weapons did back then, and every part, the reloading, everything's very accurate. There's more than 30 weapons, I think, in the game, so they really love their weapons, and they want them to be perfect. They even included some prototypes that existed back then, but maybe never were used in the war. But it's not like, I think gamers will appreciate to be able to use those.
So your character, the sort of vibe, not to be reductive, but the vibe you get off this is very much like either a first-person Uncharted or perhaps something like Indiana Jones, like hyping back to that era of discovery.
Exactly. So we've got basically the same roots, and we thought like, instead of piling on another copy of Indiana Jones and all this stuff, we want to go back to what inspired Indiana Jones. And this was the books of H. Rider Haggard about Alan Quatermain. And so we basically looked at the universe of H. Rider Haggard, at this Quatermain universe, and created our own timeline within that universe. So it's set in these stories of H. Rider Haggard. You play the great-grandson of Alan Quatermain, his original hero. So we changed around a little bit, but it's basically set in this world, and all the gameplay we try to really bring out of this story. So you have your equipment, you've got your compass that Reinhard has got on now, and it's not just a normal compass, it shows you the treasures that you can collect. You don't have to collect them. If you don't want them, you can just go through the levels, but they encourage you to explore the world. Then you have to solve puzzles, like here you've got the 7 orbs up here, so you have to have 7 orbs as well. But all the treasures, they come with a price. As in Indiana Jones, you know the kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
If you want it, you don't just grab a treasure. There's bound to be a trap or something.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful when you get them. So there's also a price involved, but they are encouraged to get them to explore the big levels that they came up with, the great environments, the jungles and everything. You find hints that show you where to go next, where the treasures might be hidden. So there's all this kind of stuff, all you'd expect from a treasure hunter kind of exploration game. But always with also a big focus on the action, because it's a first-person shooter, and it's the first-person shooter in that genre. Yeah, that thing can be very painful.
Yeah, so initial stuff, content I'd seen of Deadfall definitely focused on, or at least it didn't explain a lot of what the sort of tertiary stuff you've got going on here. So it's very much not like something like Painkiller. Obviously, it's a completely different developer we're talking about here. So there's a lot more going on here than just simple run and gun action. You've got quite a lot of stuff. What other tools do you have at your disposal?
It's a big difference between Painkiller, because Painkiller is more of an old school arcade action shooter. Yeah. Great game. They know their action, so that's the great thing for this shooter as well, is that they know how to handle their action. I actually love throwing the bundles of dynamite. It's one of my favorite things in the game. But the game is definitely a story-driven game, because the goal is to make you feel like you're in one of those summer blockbusters, in one of those movies that we all enjoy. So you've got your equipment is basically a compass that helps you find treasures. You've got a notebook from Ellen, from your great-granddad, because he's been there, so he knows some things about it. So when you're stuck with a trap or you're not sure how to use a puzzle, you can check the notebook, see, okay, did my great-grandfather have anything to say about this?
Very clever. So it's kind of like an improvised hint system in a way.
It's a hint system. If that still is not enough, then your lovely sidekick, Jennifer, or one of the other sidekicks in the game, will start giving you hints if you're stuck too long. Because it's an action game, we don't want to break the speed too much. So if you're stuck with a puzzle, you'll have 2 different kinds of hint systems that will, but they're all from the story, so it's not something that breaks you out of the immersion of being in there and just exploring the levels.
You're not alt-tabbing out to go to GameFAQs to try
Nobody wants to do that. In addition, you've got a flashlight, which again in the story is tied. There's a reason why it has some special abilities, which is basically it has a focused mode. We'll try and get a mummy up here now to show you what it does, because it's especially important when you fight mummies. You can use it with all the guns at the same time. You don't have to switch around, Doom 3 style or something like this. If you encounter mummies, they don't like the light, so you can use it to break their defense. But again, it comes with a price, because once you've burned them, as you'd expect, they get pretty angry. So once this happens, so their defense goes down, you should take them out pretty quickly. Which now I think you're on God mode, so it's a bit easier to do. But normally,
I am
just as well. Just as well.
Just so we don't die within.
That's the E3 special. Everyone gets God mode. Don't worry.
So, especially when there's more of them, you'll have to handle the flashlight really well, because the focused mode will drain away. So then it has to reload. So you shouldn't just waste it. The flashlight. This was the knife that you have for close combat, by the way. Also, you can use the flashlight for crowd control a little bit of the... Because if you just, without the focus mode, they just stop a little.
Yeah.
And this will later, we'll show that. It gets a lot very important when you have traps that you can trigger. So there's traps that will hit you,
Right.
but you can also make sure they hit the enemy. And so if you use the flashlight to keep them in the right place, and then you just wipe them out with
So,
one.
for instance, when the swinging blades were happening, perhaps if one was running in, you could stop him for a second and
Exactly. The swinging blades are more like a... Oh, the God mode didn't help
God
here.
mode off.
It's a live demo, so it's happening.
So the swinging blades are just an environmental trap. So those are the ones that are just there to hinder you. But then later in the game, or all over the game actually, like it's always a variety. You've got both things, and there are traps that if you trigger them at the right time, they will hurt your enemy. If you trigger them at the wrong time, they'll hurt you.
Hurt you, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just to keep you from just shooting around wildly, and also to give you more options. Because if there's a lot of mummies, just with the weapons, you're gonna have a hard time. So it's still your decision. If you think I'm just gonna use the weapons, this is enough for me, you can probably still do it if you're a good shooter player and a veteran player. But they give you a variety of tools. Farm really wants you to be able to have different ways and different possibilities of taking out your enemies. Just to spice it up a little, and just because it's...
Who's that guy? He's kicking your ass.
That's one of these
Yeah.
like creatures. Like, you know, we have two kind of like main categories in terms of enemies. So we have humanoid soldier enemies like German soldiers and Russian soldiers, and like, you know, the Egyptian bandits basically. And then we have like the supernatural creatures.
Just smoking a dude while you're like reading your notebook. It's
Yeah.
like, just it's no
That's
thing.
adventurous style actually, you know.
It's part of the dual wielding, so you can dual wield all pistols.
Cool.
And so you can basically also always switch with the dual wielding to the flashlight and to the notebook.
Yeah.
But yeah, these guys actually, why this guy is so hard is because this is one of the last levels, and like this is very late in the
Okay.
game. So these guys are the ancient protectors of the Mayan temples.
Good
So,
timing.
Yeah, they are quite
Yeah.
badass.
Third time's the charm. Very good.
How it works, yeah. I'm not playing goat mode. I mean, that's boring. Yeah, you have to experience the real stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for folks watching, a lot of people in the chat are asking what platforms Deadfall Adventures is available on.
It's coming out on PC and Xbox 360 in the end of September.
Cool.
And we really wanted to first, we hope we will be able to do a PlayStation 3 version as well. For now, we're really focusing on PC, Xbox 360 to really polish these
Yeah.
games, really get them perfect and
Similar architecture.
yeah,
kind of
and so
is-
that because we don't want them to feel like it's ported from one side or the other. You don't
Sure.
want to make the Xbox game feel like a PC game that was just thrown over. Really a great experience on both platforms, and then hopefully we'll be able to do a PlayStation game as well. If the reception is good, which we are very confident it will be, because it's a great game, and there's so much love and detail gone into this game over the years. You see the environment; they really got the last out of the Unreal 3 engine. They
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
all the detailed environments, the structures. It makes you feel like it makes you really want to explore this space and explore these exotic places, just as you'd want to if you're a treasure hunter.
Excellent.
The treasures. One reason why it's also a bit harder for Reinhard to play this right now is, as you collect the treasures, they're not just gold. They also, you can upgrade your character with them. It's tied into the story. So we looked at the story, thought like, what are the gameplay elements that we can take out of it? And we thought like, actually, you could take out a small upgrade system out of this. That's what we did. So he has no upgrades.
Right,
So he's
and it's quite late in the game.
Time.
No, but we'll soon get the upgrades also, at least some, to show you how this system works.
Excellent. Well, we've still got a good bit of time here. We've got a good 10 minutes left of Deadfall Adventures. If any folks who are watching have any questions, please, by all means, put them in the chat in the GameSpot page, or tweet me at Daniel Dwyer, and I'll do my very best to get them over to Reinhard and Martin as well. So how long has this been in development? You said this is obviously a passion project, small independent developer kind of working in collaboration with you guys. How
I
long?
mean, it started out like to experiment with that setting and the nature of the game about 2 years ago. So we first, or the guys at Farm 51 first tried to how traps could work. And this was a really interesting process, because we tried to figure out what traps are fun to play, how we make the player figure out that, you know, how to solve the puzzles and how to get around the traps. So we spent a lot of time prototyping this stuff.
There's a lot of people in the chat talking about the puzzles, interested in that. How much of the gameplay is based around this sort of interaction as opposed to the shooting?
It's a good balance. I would say maybe like 70 to 30.
Yeah, 70 to 30.
Action, 30 puzzle solving.
Cool.
Because we don't want to. It depends on whether you include the traps into the
Sure.
puzzle solving. It's not really, but it's like you have to keep your mind on the game because of the traps and because of all that kind of stuff. But the puzzle solving is a smaller part of it than the action. It's the first important, and the guys of Farm, they know how to do the action, the gunplay, the fast-paced battles. So this is a big part. But it's just also to experience the story, you need some variety. You need some calm moments where you have
Martin,
time
your
to
favorite
also...
scene?
Oh, yeah, my favorite scene.
Let's check this out.
This is my favorite trap. It's a vase full of insects. If you're too close, those lovely little creatures are gonna attack you. If the mummy is closer, they're gonna munch away the mummies.
You'll see here again.
You'll have
Oh
to be...
God, not the bees!
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not the bees!
Aren't they cute? So those are my favorite traps, basically. But again, they are very dangerous because even if they don't have enough to eat, they'll still come and eat you.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you have to make sure you feed them well.
Excellent. It's like the snarks in Half-Life 1, it reminds
Yeah.
me of. You release one and there's no one else there, they'll come for you. Georgina Perez asked me via Twitter, how is this available on PC? Is it download only? Is there a box copy? I know you guys have a Steam version out there.
Yeah, so it will be available both. So I mean, we are looking also to bring out a fancy collector's edition.
The fancy collector's edition?
Yeah.
What would be in that per se?
Yeah, like just some, for example, a nice collection of the artworks we did. I mean, we have a lot of like interesting concept art, probably some untold stories about the whole kind of world setting, but I cannot make any
Extended
definite
fiction.
announcements. That's just what we are looking into. And yeah, there's also a normal box copy because we still believe, like, especially on such games, it's always nice to have a box on the shelf at home.
This was exactly one of those moments where the trap would have been very useful.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
So you guys are coming out in September. Is that correct, on Xbox Live Arcade?
Yeah, the game comes out at the end of September, both on PC and Xbox 360 at the same time.
Does that mean you might be on the tail end of Summer of Arcade or something, or is that after that? The Summer of Arcade, the promotion that's on Xbox Live Arcade every year. Are you involved in that at all?
On Xbox, we actually just boxed. Yeah.
On the Xbox it comes out.
Oh, really?
Boxed, so it's
Yeah.
not
Just
a
boxed,
download
not
game.
download
It's a
version.
normal box classic game.
Excellent.
And on you just have it on Steam as a download title and normal box on PC as well.
Excellent, cool. Global release across PC and
German
Xbox
and
everything.
English. It's available in German and English. We also took a lot of care to have great voice acting, to have really all the various characters from around the world, Germans, Russians. They are real Russians, real Germans. Since we ourselves are from Austria, we really wanted to take care
That's
of this.
always
This
happened.
is the real language.
Eastern European developed games always make sure to have proper European accents across all the voice
Yeah.
acting stuff.
It's our thing.
It's like an industry standard or something.
Yeah. So here you can see if you shoot the button on the side, there's spears coming out of those skulls that are gonna help you a lot in taking out a lot of mummies at the same time. So those are the kind of tactical decisions you have to make quickly, because it's also about which gun you use, because with a shotgun it's harder to hit a switch, it's easier to hit a target. So it's your decision, do you want a gun that is good for hitting switches and using the traps, or something that's just good for blasting away at the mummies?
Crazy Bacchus in the chat is asking, is there any co-op in this game? And I'd like to add to that and ask, is there any multiplayer component?
There's no co-op mode as such, but there is a multiplayer. We've got normal deathmatch, team deathmatch, capture the artifact, which is basically capture the flag. But we've also got our own mode, which is unique to this game, is the treasure hunt mode, where you have to have which team, the team wins that has more points, not the one that kills most people. And you can get points by killing enemies, but also by collecting treasures. So it depends on the tactic of your team. Also, in the multiplayer modes, there are certain powers that you can get granted by the gods as you amuse them. And,
It's basically a kill streak system. So you kind of
I prefer that. I prefer kill streak. Just say if you amuse the gods.
Yeah. And there's one way, one very nice one is where you get turned into a mummy and you just become a badass close combat monster. You can take out some enemies with that. So we've got a multiplayer. Fortunately, no co-op modus for this one. But
like no story co-op. I mean, obviously in the multiplayer modes we have, you also work together, which is basically co-op kind of gameplay. But
Side Effects 1 in the chat is asking as well what the minimum specifications for the PC release would be. Do you have any ballpark idea? Obviously, it's running on Unreal Tech, so it looks.
Well, I think it will run on a dual-core system quite well with a GeForce 9600, something like a minimum, I would say. So like a PC from 4 to 5 years ago, it will run quite well. Like
you said 425, not 45, right?
No, 4 to 5. Like it's not a
set
DOS
in
game
43, so
Atari, a card
yeah,
game,
you need a computer from 1943 to play it.
Yeah.
Can I ask as well about your companion there? Is she along with you for the entire game, or how does she evolve in the combat?
Well, it depends on the story. She's just for a quick. This is the upgrade system where you can spend your treasures. It's a simple skill tree. The drawings are still work in progress, but you can just spend your treasures on these upgrades. It's a simple one. We don't want to have you sorting through a skill tree for half an hour because it's an action game. But like this, you can decide how to upgrade your character. Your sidekick Jennifer is a story character, so she's with you when the story permits it. Sometimes you've got other sidekicks who will also help you or not help you and stuff like this. But Jennifer is your main point of interest as well, because of course at the beginning they don't like each other that much, but over time, as you have in these kind of genre, they start flirting more and more. And I don't want to give away too much, but
they bone in the end.
I wouldn't say it like this.
Okay. Is this we've only got about a minute left. Is this a boss battle we're getting to? Oh man.
Exactly.
This is definitely a boss battle.
This is what happens if you disturb a Mayan death god. It's basically not a good idea. And he sends his minions, and this is one of these moments where you will see like that it's you need the traps, because if you've got these amounts of mummies going at you, it will be difficult with just the gun and even with the flashlight. If you're really good and if you're confident, you can try, but
I'm out of ammo.
Or if you're out of ammo.
I don't know what to do.
Out of ammo. Use your knife.
To the left, you can get an ammo box, actually.
All right, this is where you're going to earn your money. Reinhard's got
this guy.
Yeah.
Get your.
That's the thing about the ammo system is you get the ammunition from the people you kill or from already dead soldiers. So any weapon you have, they have.
Yeah. Oh, it could be the end. This could be the end of the demo. You're just squeezing out those seconds. With your flaming zombies. All right, I think you got this. All right, that's it. Perfect time
that's a
to close
good
it on.
ending. You can see what happens if you anger a Mayan death god.
Yeah, you don't want to do that in Deadfall Adventures. Reinhard and Martin, could you please tell the folks at home when the game is out again and on what platforms?
Yeah, I mean, the game is coming out in late September, and it will be out on PC and X360 simultaneously. We are looking to do, for the multiplayer mode that Martin introduced, we're looking to do a kind of beta phase where the players can give us feedback, because we kind of know that it's important to listen to what the community thinks of a game. We want to, like, we're actually doing kind of closed betas already.
Cool.
So we want to see what they think about this game, and it's kind of fresh take, as you see. I mean, the setting with this adventurer topic, and we want to, kind of like react to what they say, and also support it after the release with I mean, just whatever the feedback will be.
Excellent. Thanks for coming on, guys. Reinhard,
Thanks.
Martin,
Thanks
Nordic
for having
Games.
us.
Really appreciate it.
Deadfall Adventures.
Deadfall Adventures coming out just a couple of months' time. Thanks very much for sticking around on GameSpot Stage 2 here on our continuing coverage of E3 2013. We have absolutely loads of stuff coming up. I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break, and we'll be back with Company of Heroes 2. See you then.